Kartik Krishnaiyer here for the Florida Squeeze. I'm making this video for safety purposes for our listeners and readers. You may think of me as someone who's been involved in politics for 30 years or know me through soccer or whatever, but actually I have been tracking storms and kind of a hurricane nerd since I was a kid. In fact, when my parents got a personal computer, the first piece of software they bought me was some hurricane tracking software. So let's get right to it with this storm. Don't focus on the center of the track, because the entire state is going to be impacted. You see the entire state, with the exception of Escambia, Okaloosa, and Santa Rosa, the three most western counties. The other 64 counties are all under some sort of watch or warning right now from the National Hurricane Center, whether it is a hurricane warning or tropical storm warning. The rest of the state, from Key West all the way to Panama City, or all the way to Seaside, right, to Walton County, under some sort of watch or warning, all the way up the East Coast as well to Fernandina from Florida City. So this storm is going to be bigger than most storms we encounter. It is a little bit asymmetrical, so you have a lot more bad weather off on the east side, which tends to be a pattern with Gulf storms. That was the case in Charlie. That was the case somewhat in Ian. That was actually the case also in Hurricane Dennis in 2005 that hit and Hurricane the hurricane that Ivan that hit Gulf Shores, but most of the bad weather was on the Florida side of the Panhandle. Storm looking very healthy on radar. So I want to again emphasize, the reason I'm making this video is I know a lot of you maybe don't follow this the way I do. Do not focus on the cone. I don't know why the Hurricane Center insists on keeping the cone in place. I thought they learned from Ian, which was a storm, by the way. I put out on social media that I thought, Collier and Lee were going to get impact. Weren't under a hurricane warning at that point because everyone was focused on the cone. And in fact, the storm turned, as Charlie did in 2004, and slammed into Lee County. This is the forecast track, but again, look at the size of the storm. Even if you're in southeast Florida, even if you're along the Treasure Coast, you're going to get impacts. My biggest concern, obviously, is for the Big Bend and the Tallahassee area, and what this might bring there. They're to get a direct hit, and that's an area which is very heavily wooded. The one fortunate thing is it's one of the most sparsely populated portions of the state. But still, there are 300,000 people or so in Leon County. There are about 400,000 people overall in that region. So it's not like hitting Jacksonville or Tampa Bay with millions and millions of people, or Miami, Fort Lauderdale with 6 million people, but it's still going to impact several 100,000 people with a direct hit. These are the latest forecast models. These are reliable tropical models. These aren't general weather models. These are tropical models, all bringing it in somewhere between Apalachicola and Horseshoe Beach, or actually further west than that. The intensity modeling also has it currently as a somewhere between a Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4. So that's something to be aware of. My other great concern, besides the Big Bend region and just general impacts around the state, the Tampa Bay area. I am really concerned about the storm surge for those of you in Pinellas and Hillsborough counties, and also really Longboat Key, Manatee, Sarasota. This is a big storm. The bigger the storm, the worse the storm surge. So even if it's just a Cat 3 and not a Cat 5 like Michael or Andrew was, the storm surge is likely to be worse. And again, look at how asymmetrical, as I said, this storm is going to be. Most of the weather is going to be on the east side, which is why the Hurricane Center put up watches and warnings for the entire tropical storm warnings for the entire Florida East Coast, from Miami-Dade through Broward all the way up to Duval and Nassau. Here is the Euro model run. The Euro has not been very reliable with this storm, I have to say. I've been tracking the disturbed weather for 9 days. The Euro, for until a few days ago, had the storm going towards Texas, forming and going towards Texas. The GFS model, some of our tropical weather models are more reliable. They've been showing a Florida landfall the whole time. But the Euro model historically has been the most reliable, so I want to show everybody where the Euro model is taking it, and that's landfall between Cedar Key and Panama City Beach. The outliers are Cedar Key and Panama City Beach. Most are concentrated right near the middle. Stay safe, everyone.